Welcome to the Spiritual Awakening with Shaz podcast, where we unlock the power within and navigate the journey of your self-discovery together. I'm Shaz, your spiritual mentor and life coach, here to help you tap into your inner guidance system and manifest your best life. Whether you're just beginning your spiritual journey or looking to deepen your practice, this podcast offers insights, techniques, and inspiration to elevate your consciousness and transform your reality. Get ready to shine your light and embrace your true potential. Remember, the answers are inside you. Let me be your guide on earth. Today we're diving into a truth that every soul encounters: judgment, empathy, and compassion, and how the universe has a way of teaching us all those lessons that we resist. Thanks for joining me on the Spiritual Awakening with Shaz podcast. Today I want to share some stories, some insights about judgment, of what happens to us when we judge other people, what happens to them when they judge us, how we learn compassion, whether we learn compassion through somebody else's story of what they're going through, or where we need to learn it through experiencing the same thing ourselves, and how our empathy truly shows up in the world. So have you ever judged someone only to later on find yourself in their shoes? Or maybe you've been on the receiving end of someone's harsh judgment and criticism, and deep down you know that it's not right. That's not what life's all about. People should understand and empathize and see what we're going through and truly have compassion for it, and think to yourself, one day they'll understand. That's the law of karma. That is how karma shows up for us. We think it's all about yin yang, back and forth, and you do wrong and karma will come back and bite you. But usually karma is just simply about you not seeing or being compassionate for somebody else, or having empathy for something someone's going through. It's about the law of consequence. It's the simple truth: as above, so below, playing out in real time. When karma comes around for us, it is something that our soul and higher self creates for us, because we want to understand better. We want to know what that feels like, and we should have shown more empathy and compassion in the first place. So in this episode, we're going to look at empathy and compassion and what they really mean, why judgment boomerangs back to us, and how life's harder lessons can transform us into softer, wiser, and more compassionate beings. So let's start with some clarity. Empathy is when you feel with someone what they're going through, the emotions they're going through. You understand their perspective. You can see their point of view. Literally, you sort of walk in their shoes for a moment. Now, whether that's an empath walking into a room and feeling the energy from other people and having that transference, or sitting there listening to someone and really feeling what they're going through, understanding the depth of their sorrow or hardship or pain, or even the greatest gifts of joy and that magic that you feel. We've all walked into rooms or had experiences where you can see love and you can feel it viscerally in your body of what they're like and how they're experiencing that love together. It is a felt and seen emotion. So without empathy, we tend to judge, and without compassion, we stay very distant from people. When we choose judgment instead of compassion, the universe steps up and it likes to balance the scales for us. This is karma in action. This is the consequence of your actions. So one of my favorite examples that I like to talk about, and it's a story that I heard about Kelly Clarkson, and she was on her show on the couch with a famous celebrity, and they were talking about her divorce. And instead of having compassion and empathy, this particular celebrity literally shamed her. She quoted Bible references at her and told her how bad divorce was, and made Kelly feel so small, and like the rawness of her divorce was real for her. And instead of finding compassion, imagine that someone made you feel so small, so less, and belittled you for your own experience. In the middle of that upheaval, someone sat in superiority against you and piles on the judgment. Now, to my knowledge, Kelly never really named the person that did this. She talked about it in like conversation of what happened, but she never revealed the source, because that's her integrity. This broke her heart. She revealed deeply how much this incident hurt her at the time. And you know the funny twist? About 6 months to a year later, that same person was all of a sudden in the tabloids getting divorced. That's karma in action. That's a consequence of your lack of compassion, no empathy, lack of gratitude. It's education. If you can't see it, understand it, and accept it, and honor it when somebody else walks through it, the only way your higher self and the greater evolution of your soul can understand it is to walk through it for yourself. So it's the universe literally saying you can't understand something that you've judged until you've lived it. So this person has to live and learn what it's like to go through that, to have that same shame and judgment come back itself, because nobody else ever needs to see or say anything about it, for their own inner critic and that little bitty shitty committee is going to enhance their own problems. They will beat themselves up. Nobody else has to do it for them. And I've seen the very same situation in a very dear friend of mine, where she got divorced and her sister and brother all both passed judgment on her, criticized her, blamed her, made her feel so small, said it was all her fault, and had no empathy or compassion for her. She was made to feel worthless. Her marriage wasn't working. Her husband was a narcissist. He put her down. He made her feel bad. And her escaping of that was suddenly her problem of she wasn't good enough. She wasn't worthy. She was the problem rather than him being the problem, and her choosing her own worth and that safety of her own children. Quite ironically, not that long ago now, her own sister is going through the exact same thing. And I remember saying to her at the time, people in glass houses shouldn't throw stones, because I didn't believe her sister's marriage was as wonderful as she was making out. I said to her there were false flaws there, and there was a lot of projected stuff that wasn't actually true. And now we're all seeing it for ourselves. Her sister created the law of cause and effect. Those who judge harshly are often brought down. This is not because the universe is cruel or karma is unkind. It's because the soul cannot expand without that connection, without compassion, and without true understanding. It happens in different scenarios. It happens with wealthy people and homelessness. You've probably seen and heard about wealthy people all around the world where they've got too much wealth, too much celebrity, too much things going for them, and they don't care about anybody else. They treat the people under them with disgrace. They put people down. They lack gratitude, and then they're blind to humanity. They don't see people. They just climb over everybody else. They live in that dog-eat-dog world. They pull people down instead of raising people up. Then you look a few years down the track and their business fails. All their shares disappear. Their money gets lost. They lose their position in society. Their relationships break down. Their families disappear. All of these suddenly unseen things that they weren't paying attention to, that they felt were beneath them, were right in front of their face, and it's their turn to deliver. This is also like as above, so below, as within, so without. What we deny in others, we will eventually ask ourselves, and it's ask ourselves. It is your own soul, your own inner guidance system that creates this for you to grow, for you to evolve. So be very wary of what you're judging in other people, because that is usually a projection of something within yourself that you don't want to shine a light on. Your soul will do it for you. It's also what we call the law of karma, or the law of consequence. And karma is not about cosmic revenge. It's not about being whipped or paid back in kind. It is about an energetic cause and effect. It's about what you put out rippling back to you. It ripples back in a similar way or even the same way, so that you can experience and understand it and find that compassion, empathy, and growth within it. When we live in alignment and in truth, compassion, and love, life really flows for us. It's wonderful. It's glorious. There's so much greatness within it. But when we live in superiority, in judgment and denial, a fall will eventually come. You watch it. Look at celebrities everywhere. We see it all the time. As above, so below. If our inner world is clouded with arrogance, fear, or projection, the outer world will mirror that back to us. It will do it all by itself. Nobody has to intervene. This is why karma is so justifying in many different ways, is that we don't have to do anything. Their own soul will create their world based on the actions and energy they put out. It has to recycle and come back. It's a law. Okay. And it's not just in personal lives. This plays out in the world stage too. So take Ted Haggard. He was a prominent pastor who preached fire and brimstone against sin. So he was against homosexuality and anything outside the Bible, and hell would rain down on you if you did all of these things. And then his own scandals came to light. Okay, the very judgment that he cast was reflected back onto him. Harvey Weinstein, the Me Too movement, okay, he wielded immense power in Hollywood, silencing and dismissing those that he exploited. For years he avoided consequence, but eventually the karmic wave come back, and his name is now synonymous with downfall, the Weinstein effect, the collapse of everything, the Me Too movement, of everything going wrong in your life. There are sports people like Lance Armstrong. He was a hero, a cancer survivor, and a champion. And he judged and attacked anyone who accused him of doping until the truth came out. Okay, he was stripped of his titles, banned from the sport, and shamed. He attracted that based on his own reaction of what was said and done. The same with Tiger Woods. He once idolized discipline and integrity. His private life unraveled publicly due to his own affairs. Sponsors pulled away and the pedestal crumbled. He fell from grace. This happens over and over again. And even though he's rebuilt parts of his career, that fall was karmic and consequence in motion. He learned from it, he grew, and that's how he was able to elevate back up. Many people do evolve and grow, and they rise again. History is littered with leaders, celebrities, and religious figures who have not only fallen from grace or judged, overpreached, or stood in superiority against others, and their downfall and consequence has been caught by the public eye. That's the law of cause and effect. The higher pedestal, the harder the fall of the judgment. And when judgment is the foundation, that is where all the consequence comes from. So you ask, why do we judge? Judgment is often projection, where we see in others things that we're not facing in ourselves, where we refuse to look into the mirror or into the shadow aspects of our soul. So if you are judging somebody else, if you are thinking negative thoughts or criticizing someone else, this is projection of your inner world that you won't let light up for the emotions, elevation, and everything to rise. And if you don't face it for yourself, you will create your own consequence. It's about the needing to feel above others rather than like understanding and accepting. Nobody else is better than anybody else. Nobody is safer than anybody else. We are all individual, and we all have our own thoughts, feelings, and even demons to face. And sometimes we hide that in the shadows and we pick on other people for it. That's based on you and your inability to tap down and look at your shadow self, the darkness within, or heal the parts of you that are overly judgmental or critical. Okay, judgment literally disconnects us from love. It disconnects us from compassion. And when we disconnect from the universe like that, the universe reconnects us in a way that makes us shape up and find that inner love and find ourselves within it. It often puts us through the very thing that we resist. So if you are hiding from something and you don't want to face it, and you can't look at the shadow aspect, and you can't heal deep down and be open and honest with yourself, trust me, the universe will do it for you. And quite frankly, you deserve better. So open your heart, choose empathy, avoid learning everything the hard way. How many times have you seen others criticize people for something and then suffer the same consequence for themselves? That's the cause and effect, right? This is how a judgment comes back to play in our own karmic cycles. Our soul wants to learn, to grow, to elevate, to rise up, and it can only do that through compassion, empathy, acceptance, understanding, love, and peace and humility. Because without it, we are going to create disaster for ourselves, and we certainly don't deserve it. So I want you to choose empathy now. Choose compassion now. And if you're wondering how, let's do some simple techniques that can bring us back to that compassionate and empathetic self. First of all, just place your hand over your heart center or in your heart chakra. Pause and breathe. Take a deep breath and let it out. And as you do that, I want you to think about the thoughts that you have about other people, about your family members, about your friends, about people in social circles, people at work, people on the train, on the tram, or however you're going about your daily business. And if you think a judgmental thought, I want you to capture that, right? I want you to catch it before it hardens and ask yourself, why are you thinking that judgmental thought towards this person? What is the thought? Are you even consciously aware of it? Because a lot of our judgment happens on the unconscious and subconscious plane through programming that we have through childhood, where we are made to believe certain things are right and wrong, and judgment becomes a general practice of what we consider good, bad, evil, or otherwise. And that's not necessarily the case. It is up to us to decide, how do we want to sit? Where is our integrity? Where is our own belief system sit? So what are you judging in someone else? And then I want you to look at that like a mirror and ask yourself, where does that show up in your life? Where are you not paying attention? Where are you hiding away from something that maybe isn't working right, that you're a bit shameful about, or you have blame, guilt, or anger, or unprocessed emotions about that situation? Why does it bother you so much? Get really curious and ask yourself, what might they be going through that is creating this behavior, this pattern, this way they're showing up in life, this action? What is the cause behind it? Are there any areas in your life where you've behaved in similar circumstances? Is there anything that you've been through that may give you some understanding and acceptance of what's going on for them without being the harsh critic? Call in a higher perspective. Ask your higher self, help me see them with love in my eyes. Help me see them with the truth of compassion, with true empathy and understanding, and see the broader picture. Let me rise myself above and see all sides of the story. See what's happening for them, the people that they're surrounded with or having conflict with or interacting with, and what is happening to the greater picture around them. What is the universal perspective of that? And rise up and look down on it. You can also go and mirror inward. Take out your journal and ask yourself, where do I judge myself in the same way? For that projection is something that you are not consciously taking responsibility for. It is an episode for you to grow through. That judgment is there to highlight for you where your soul wants to grow, where it wants to rise up and elevate to become better. Be compassion in action. Offer presence, kindness, and support instead of criticism. Listen. Be an ear of support. Give wisdom if it's required, but sometimes just listen and give the person a hug and let them unload and unburden themselves and be just there for them. Your simple presence can make a huge difference to someone when they don't even realize it. And send light and love. Each night, say a prayer. Offer up some compassion to those that you've judged. Cut your cords, call the energy back, and send loving healings. I do Ho'oponopono practice on anyone that I've had conflict throughout the day and offer up the 4 phrases. Please forgive me, or I forgive you. Thank you. I'm sorry. I love you. Send that beautiful energy out so that it can come back to you again. Sit in gratitude. Take a look around and look at all the greatness in your life. Honor it, appreciate it, celebrate it, and love it, but be present. Stop letting life pass you by. Stop thinking that anybody else is better or worse than you. Stop looking outside of yourself and start looking inward, for that is where our truth grows. Because if you still continue to judge someone based on their situation, whether it's homelessness or someone going through, say, divorce or losing their business or or losing their job or doing the wrong thing or hurting somebody else. And if you're hypercritical about that, the only way you can truly get compassion and empathy and understanding is to experience it for yourself. Don't make things harder than they need to be. So here's some truth, loves, okay? Those who judge harshly will be brought down, not by cruelty, but by their own higher self, their own soul, and their own evolution goals. You will experience this for yourself. Look back on your life and ask yourself, where did you judge someone and you had to go through the same thing? I know there have been many times in my life where I went through things that I couldn't understand why, and it was through some judgment aspect where I lacked the compassion and empathy to understand somebody else's situation. Okay, this is about universal law teaching us balance. For every action, there is a reaction. The yin-yang prospect, the karmic circle. This is our experience of how we grow, how we evolve, and how we certainly ascend. Okay, what we refuse to learn from love, we will learn through experience. Don't you know the old-fashioned saying that learn the lessons from somebody else going through it? Master the mastery by watching, learning rather than doing. You don't have to do it for self. You can learn through other people. This is a choice that's always yours. You can sit in judgment and wait for consequence, or you can step into empathy and compassion now. It's up to you. Because when we choose compassion, we rise, we free ourselves, we align to truth, we elevate, we dance, we become everything we want to be. And that reflects back to us the greatest gift that we ever want, and that's freedom. So thank you for joining me in Spiritual Awakening with Shaz today. If this episode spoke to you and you find benefit from it, please share it with your friends and family. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, and definitely leave me a comment if you really enjoyed this episode. If you would like a free download, which is about that beautiful little meditative space and some journaling prompts that you can ask yourself of how you can get away from judgment, step into your power, and arrange for yourself to truly feel empathetic and compassionate in all areas, comment and let me know, or go for the download link in the episode. Until next time, keep shining. Thanks for listening to the Spiritual Awakening with Shaz podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe down below so you don't miss an episode. You can also follow us on Facebook with the links below. Until next time, trust your intuition and let your spirit soar.